At midnight, rain was hitting the windows. Dina was sitting in the run-down house where she lived alone, watching a scary movie. While his heartbeat was competing with the tension-filled scenes of the movie, suddenly the sound of the door clicking echoed in the room. Startled, Dina turned down the volume on the television and walked towards the door. "Who's that?" he shouted, but there was no answer. An uneasiness appeared within him. There was no one in front of the door and he could hear nothing but the sound of the wind. Maybe he heard wrong, he thought. Just as he was about to turn back, the clicking sound was heard once again, but this time it was a little harder. His heart started beating fast and his palms became sweaty. "I'm not expecting anyone at this hour," he muttered. He waited a while longer and listened to the heavy silence. He decided to open the door slowly. When the door creaked open, there was no one outside, but something caught his attention. There was an old rusty key in front of the door. Curious, he took the key and looked around but found no trace. It was like he was on the trail of something lost. He put the key in his pocket and went inside. However, when he entered, a cold breeze enveloped him. In the corner of the room, there was no proper lighting and a shadow appeared in the darkness. Dina stepped back in fear. The shadow was slowly approaching him. "Have you forgotten me?" he said, his voice echoing. Dina got goosebumps when she heard this voice she didn't recognize. A figure appeared in the shadows. His face was lost in darkness but filled with a deep emptiness. Dina held her breath. Who are you?" he was able to say. "You have forgotten, and you do not want to remember," said the figure, slowly approaching Dina. "But you have to remember me. I waited in front of the door every night, but you always ignored me." Dina squinted her eyes and stepped back in fear. "This must be a joke," he said, but he sounded convincing. The figure began to smile, but this smile was so scary that it made Dina's blood run cold. "You cannot forget me, for I am the darkness within you," said the figure, the tone of his voice deepening. Darkness surrounded Dina and the sound of falling rain echoed like a necklace of screams. At that moment, Dina realized that she was imprisoned by a soul that did not share her loneliness. This being that appeared in front of the door every night was a reflection of the fear inside him, and now he was lying in wait for her. There was no escape from his sick mind. The door closed behind him like an endless shadow. The night left Dina alone again, but this time her soul was filled with a dark secret.